What up, y'all? My name is Aaron Washington, and this is the Fix My Fundamentals live show, live lesson. And today, what we're going to be talking about is how to create a good sound easily with this method that I'm about to show you today. All right, so let's see. Let's check if I'm sounding okay. Let's check if you guys can hear me on YouTube and Facebook. I was going to say LinkedIn, but for some reason we're having some troubles with LinkedIn. Uh, but if you can hear me, put a number one in the chat. Oh, cool. You can hear me. Excellent. Excellent. The sound is a bit muffled. That's probably just my pronunciation that's muffled. Because I can hear myself pretty fine, pretty good. All right. So, what's up, Steven? What's up, Ludovit? Hopefully, I'm saying your name right. And you showed up to the live stream. Um, Great to have you. And you had your question about tone and intonation. So, we're going to hit that up in just a second. So, I have you live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Instagram was noticing all the technical difficulties happening on the background of this show. So that's why we're starting a bit late, but I got some good stuff for you guys. So today we're going to talk about how to really make a good sound on the trumpet, even if you're a beginner. Now, is it going to sound like Wynton Marsalis, Håkan Hardenberger, uh, Chris Bodie right away? No. So that's not the expectation, right? So, but you're going to have a better sound as an individual when you do this. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So, like the video, share the video with your friends, and let's get started. So, before we get started with the topic, let's let's talk about the instead of the book of the day, today is going to be an article of the day. So, the article of today is from the Washington Post, the continued impact of jazz trumpeter Roy Hargrove. And so this article just came out yesterday, July 26th. And this is a great article if you don't know much about Roy Hargrove, if you're living under a rock. However, this is a great small little um, jam-packed article about like his background and his life and his legacy of just how he, how much of a beast he was during during his when he was young, like in his teens. And then there's people that just talking on his behalf of how great of a person and musician he was. So let's read a little bit of this article, then I'll just leave it up to you. The link to this article is in the description box, either below this video or above this video. Of course, on Instagram, you can't see the links, so you can go to youtube.com/the Black Trumpeter to check out those links. So let's get started with this. Roy Hargrove was a gateway into jazz for younger listeners who represented the tradition, but it felt a lack. Let's see, can you hear me? Oh, you can. Cool. Felt a lack in uh, tangible connection to the present. The jazz trumpeter who emerged as blazing talent into 1990s was able to delicately straddle hard bop and hip hop, serving as a generational translator for the genre. Right? So it goes into who his contemporaries were: Christian McBride, Nicholas Payton, Mark Carey, Joshua Redman, and all of this is really to to promote his newest album that's coming out July 23rd or July 22nd, um, which is this album, In Harmony. So it's a duo, it's a duo performance, live performance with Roy Hargrove and Miller, and it's called In Harmony, coming out July 23rd. So I already pre-ordered my copy for that to come. And so I'm really ready for that. And so, by the way, that is the album of the day, Roy Hargrove, In Harmony. And it's just based on um, performances back in January 2006 and in September 11th, 2007. So check out this article. It's a good read. And check out the single. The single of this they have they have available. You can go on YouTube. That's also in the description box below. Is Blues from Mr. Hill live, and man, that that recording is enough. Like that's enough to say like I'm gonna purchase this album for sure because it's just killing all the way through. It's a duo, and so all things Roy Hargrove, and it's great. Okay, so that was and the song or album of the day. All right, looking like we have some quality issues. Conzo says, is the quality supposed to be 144p or might that be a problem on my end? See if you can, it's probably a problem on your end. Go ahead and up the quality on your browser or on your phone to maybe the highest, level or quality. It might be at 144p, so it's able to stream to different platforms. So it's easier and it's a faster processing speed. So hopefully you can just hear me well, right? So so we talked about the article of the day and we talked about the album of the day. So check those out. That's in the links. Those I have it linked up in the description box below and above. So check that out. Evelyn, hey, nice to have you live. Nice to have you join the video. All right, so today we're talking about sound and how to get a good sound on the trumpet easily. So when you first start, or even if you have some experience already, the first technique or the first thing I want to talk about is allowing the sound to happen rather than make the sound happen. And what do I mean by that? Allow the vibration to happen rather than make the buzz happen. So when we first start out, they tell us, and I also have a video on this myself, right? So we have the first lesson is usually this. They tell you how to do your embouchure. Say M, firm the corners, flat the chin, make sure your lips are together, and blow, right? And to make a lip buzz. Or and then put that lip buzz to the mouthpiece. But as I was finding, a lot of people on that video, how to make a buzz on trumpet, they're having troubles making that buzz. And there's plenty of descriptions of what they're saying, like, oh, my buzz sounds like this. It sounds like a fart. It sounds like a this or that. So, or they can't get that really characteristic sound of the trumpet. So what's a better way without making the buzz happen? So in that aspect, we're making the lips vibrate. However, we don't need to do that really to play the instrument. We don't need to make the buzz happen. We can allow the buzz to happen, allow the sound to happen. So one way to do that is just to blow air. So you're gonna form your embouchure. So say M, form your embouchure, firm the corners, flat the chin, However, your lips are going to be farther apart, right? You're just going to be playing wind. So you're going to apply that to the trumpet, just blow wind. Middle of the lips are farther apart, right? So what's next? After we do that, we're going to slowly bring the lips together until the lips want to vibrate. So when we blow that wind, we're going to we're going to slowly bring the lips together to vibrate. We're not going to make them vibrate. We're going to allow them to vibrate by themselves by slowly bringing the top lip and the bottom lip together. So let's do it on a low C. So here's a low C. Do, do. So have that sound in mind. Blow wind, bring the lips together slowly, and play that low C. Right? So let's do it again. One. Well, I'm actually not going to count. Just blow air, bring the lips together, think of the sound, and make it happen. Or let it happen. Right? So for that, that's only one part of it. That's one part of it. I really want to go over 3 or 4 other important aspects of making a better sound. So this is just one of it to making it easier. So you don't have to make it happen by buzzing your lips. Right? That's not it doesn't sound too good. It doesn't sound too good with the buzzing of the lips. It sounds a little stuffy. And if you ever worked with beginners or you're a beginner yourself, you might recognize that sound. Sounds really stuffy. And we want to open that sound up and make it nice and resonant and broad. You guys hear the difference? You guys feel the difference if you got your horn on you? What do you think? You guys hear the difference? Feel the difference? You guys have any questions before I move on to the next thing? So while you guys type that, let's go over some comments and concerns. Stephen L. Since you're talking about sound today, it would be nice to understand why on my B flat trumpet playing a low C comes out as a B flat on my tuner and don't understand why. That's a great question. I get this question a lot only because a lot of my subscribers are either guitar players or they're piano players. So it's a B flat trumpet, right? So that all that's telling us is that this trumpet is in a different key. It's transposed in a different key. So it's not in C. So like my guitar people and my piano people and flutes, trombones, tubas, they're all C concert instruments. They're C concert instruments. And so that means what they see on the page is what's going to be is the sound. So if they see a on the page, the sound that comes out of their horn is going to be an A. So there's a difference between written and there's a difference between sounding pitch. So that's where transposition comes into play. The B flat instruments like trumpet, tenor sax, clarinet. Now, what they see on the page is going to be is not going to be A. It's going to be B natural, because B flat instruments are a whole step up from concert pitch. Let me repeat that again. B flat instruments are a whole step up from concert pitch. So, to answer your question, the reason why you play a low C on trumpet and it comes out B flat is because we're sounding a whole step up from concert pitch. I got to find an easier way to explain it. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense, but that's the reason why. Just know that. The sounding pitch is the same, but the written pitch is different. The written pitch is written up a whole step. Does that make sense? We got Claymon on Instagram says, "Hey, I absolutely love your Instagram posts and what you're doing. Keep it up. Keep up the great work." Thank you so much, Claymon. All right, let's hit up another question or concern. Do, 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 boop. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Kanzo says, "What exactly do you mean by flatten your chin?" It's more so when I talk about flatten the chin, it's really to kind of press your bottom lip against your bottom teeth. Like stretch that out like that. And kind of move your jaw forward just a tiny bit. You see my jaw move a little bit? I'm flexing my jaw or flexing my chin. That's what I mean by flattening the chin, flattening the chin. Does that make sense? So I'm kind of stretching a little bit, stretching the bottom lip across my teeth. And as a result of that, I'm flexing my chin. So you can see a little muscle, see my flex of the muscles in my chin a little bit. So that's what I mean. And nice. So Kanzo again says, "Yeah, my C sounds way nicer." So by not buzzing the lips, because we don't need to buzz our lips to make a sound on the trumpet. We don't need to do a more efficient way, in my humble opinion, is to just blow air and allow the lips to come together and vibrate where they need to. And as a result, you get a freer sound, a more open sound. So we got another person. We got Ludovic says, "It seems to be easy." Good, good. It's easier that way. Instead of trying to worry about your lip buzz, all you got to worry about is really blowing air and making sure the lips are in the right place for that particular note. We got 227 on Instagram says, "Same saying goes for higher notes as well. You can do the same thing with every single note. Blow air." So here's the method here. Steps. Blow air. Well, first, form your embouchure. Blow air. So allow the middle of the lips to be together. Allow the middle of the lips to be apart. And then as you blow, so taking a deep breath, as you blow, bring the top lip and the bottom lip together. And it's just going to vibrate on its own to make that pitch. So we're doing low C. You can do this on any note. So C above, C in the staff, an octave up. Da. Form your embouchure, blow air, bring the lips together, and allow the lips to vibrate where they want to vibrate. Now we can do G above the staff, same thing. that was E. It's definitely more difficult as you go up. So you got to make sure two things. As you go up, you got to make sure that your tongue level is in the right position to where it, the tongue level needs to be in the right position for that particular note. So as you go up, I want you to think E as in pizza and blow E, kind of like you're hissing, right? And then you got to make sure that your support is there. And so your support, your breath support, and that's the second thing I want to talk about today, is your breath support needs to be there to help make the sound a lot broader and bigger and stronger. So you gotta make sure your tongue level is there, your breath support is there, and the air speed depending on that note, fast or slow. So on Instagram, 227 says, I see how it works. Great, great, great. And also on Instagram, again with the transposition is from Amount says, is it true trumpet is a B flat instrument? Yes, it is true. Now there is a C trumpet, but that's mostly for classical uh, things. But in most cases, you're going to be playing a B flat instrument. So if you're not mostly a classical player, you're going to be playing a B flat instrument instead of a C trumpet, because the C trumpet sounds has a slightly different sound. All right. So today we talked about starting we this concept of allowing the lips to vibrate rather than make the lips vibrate. Now, this before we get on to the second tip or the second concept, let me go over some comments about what you guys have. Steve says, "Yep, you're doing a great job. Last 4 days, I've been practicing your chromatic five notes. Excellent." So Steve is referring to my last live stream where I talk about how to easily how to um, how to build your range with a simple exercise. So check that out if you haven't already. All right. So we got Ludovic says, if I have a problem with the tone, I put the trumpet away and practice lip buzz for a short time. Then with the instrument, it gets better. Yeah, I mean the lip buzz. Now check it. This is just my humble opinion. Is just my way of playing. Lip buzzing doesn't do anything for my playing. However, if lip buzzing improves your playing, I 100% back it, 1,000% back it, because what works for me is not necessarily what's going to work for y'all, right? I'm just giving you another option. Just giving you another option. Now, lip buzzing is cool for a number of reasons, but the best reason is for this. It's for the ear. So like lip buzzing and mouthpiece buzzing is great for ear training because you want to link the pitch in your head with the mechanism you're using to create sound. Does that make sense? You want to link the pitch that you have in your head and connect that to what you are trying to play. So that's great. And for my younger and my less experienced players, I highly recommend two types of buzzing: mouthpiece buzzing and lead pipe buzzing. I'm not going to get into lead pipe buzzing today, but lead pipe buzzing is just taking the main tuning slide out and buzzing on the lead pipe. So that's good for your ear The second reason why it's good is to build your embouchure, to kind of to make it stronger. So I'm glad you pointed that out. Steve, with the question saying, are you flattening your chin in the staff or when you get above the staff? My my best guess, because I don't really know, because I'm it's so ingrained in me. I don't really pay attention to it, so I'm going to be upfront and honest. I don't know. However, my guess is yes, my chin is flat, or it's as flat as it can possibly be in the mid to upper register. However, in the lower register, if I were to guess, it's probably not as flattened because I'm trying to loosen up a little bit with the embouchure. Not too much, but just enough. The whole point of having the corners firm in the flat chin is to make sure that this are the mechanism to how we produce our sound is our face, right? So we need this to be as stable as possible. We need our embouchure to be as stable as possible. We can't play the instrument with the floppy embouchure. It's as if it's as if you play guitar and your strings are not tight. Your strings are like loose and they're just flopping around. You're not going to get a clean sound. It's going to sound terrible. Same thing with the embouchure. We want the embouchure to be as stable as possible. So have a firm corners, at least at the bare minimum, have firm corners, and then if you can manage it, have a flat chin to really develop these muscles here. Around here is called the orbicularis oris. That's the muscle around here. We want to strengthen that up to have a better sound, better endurance, and all that. Good questions, guys. Good questions. Good questions. However, for me personally, and in my development, I I believe more in buzzing on the lead pipe, or not, or allowing the sound to vibrate on the lead pipe rather than buzzing on the mouthpiece. Only because we're trumpet players. We're not mouthpiece players. I want to learn how to play the trumpet and not the mouthpiece. The mouthpiece, in my humble opinion, is different than actually playing the trumpet. There's different schools of thought on that, and that's my school of thought. That's I'm in that school. I don't believe in mouthpiece buzzing. All right, so let's get to the second topic. So, in order for us to have a nice strong sound, in order for us to have a nice strong sound, we can't rely on our small muscles. This is a very small muscle, our embouchure. We got to rely on our big muscles. And what big muscles am I talking about? All around here, your abs, your back. That's what I'm talking about. You got to rely on your big muscles rather than your small muscles. And here's an example of that. Me using relying on my small muscles. Here's what it sounds like. Especially, let's say if I play a major scale. Have you guys heard that before? Have you guys heard that before? That way of playing? Put a number one in the chat if you heard that before, or you've sounded like that before. I've sounded like that. I've sounded like that before plenty of times. And it's exhausting playing that way. And that's in doing that, that's relying more on your small muscle. You're doing everything with your embouchure. You're pushing, you're squeezing, all of that. However, if we want to have a fuller sound, a bigger sound, a more a more resonant sound, we gotta rely on our big muscles to get a big sound. If you want a small sound, rely on your small muscles. If you want a big sound, rely on your big muscles. So, I'm relying on my big muscles. Here's an example of that. Right? That's what it sounds like when you rely on your big muscles. And so, how do you use your big muscles? How do you use? That's probably the question you're asking. Is Aaron, how do you use your big muscles so you have a big sound? And so, what you want to do is this. First, I want you to put your hand. I want you to put your hand on your neck. Don't choke yourself, right? Put your hand on your neck. And I want you to pretend like you have lungs in your neck. Like you have little bitty lungs in your neck. So put your hand on your neck, and I want you to breathe from your neck. Like this. Right? That looks silly and it sounds ridiculous. Right? I'm doing it in front of 20 some people, but hopefully you're in the comfort of your own home and you can look silly by yourself, right? So breathe from your neck. So, what's happening when you breathe from your neck? Does it feel free? Does it feel open? Does it feel relaxed? Does it feel open? If the answer is no to all three of those questions, then let's not do that. Because if we breathe from our neck and we use our neck to exhale and inhale, then that's what our trumpet sound is going to sound like. Right? Super tight, like Steven said. All right, next thing. Put your hand on your chest. Say it with your chest. Put your hand on your chest. And I want you to pretend like all of your lungs are just in this area alone. Your lungs are in this area, not anywhere else. And I want you to breathe from your chest. So inhale and exhale. Put your hand on your chest, and I want you to pretend like you're breathing from your chest. Now, it should feel a little bit more open. It should feel a little bit more free. It should feel a little bit more relaxed. However, there's a tiny bit of tension in your neck still when we're breathing from our chest, right? Put a number 1 in the chat if you're feeling that. If you're not, then put a 0 in the chat. But if you're pretending like you're breathing from your chest, there's a slight tension in your neck. Not as much as when we breathe from our neck, but it's slight. Steven says 1. Evelyn says feels narrow, right? Now, lastly, I want you to actually put 2 hands. Put your hand on your abs and put your other hand on the side of your core, on the side of your core. Hand on your abs, hand on the side. And I want you to breathe from here. I want you to feel your body expand as you inhale and then decompress as you exhale. Feel your body, feel your core expand, feel the side of your body expand, and breathe from here. That is what we want. That that alone is how we're going to use our big muscles. By breathing not from the diaphragm, because people always say breathe from the diaphragm. That's wrong. The diaphragm is an involuntary muscle. It moves on its own. You don't have to make it move. Just by you breathing alone moves it. So, however, we want to slow down that movement, slow down the resistance, and I want you to let's do this. So put your hand right now, just put your hand on your belly, on your abs, and we're going to breathe in for 4 counts and then breathe out for 8. Breathe in for 4, out for 8. And I want you to sustain that airstream for 8 counts. And so you have to be very conscious of how much air you're blowing out and how much air you're taking in. So let's do that. 1, 2, 1, 2. Breathe in. Here we go. Again, 2. Breathe in. Here we go. And make sure that you're breathing from your core. It should feel easy. It should feel relaxed. It should feel free when you're doing this. And so when you apply this to actual trumpet playing, we get a bigger sound, a more resonant sound, because we don't have any tension in our body. No tension whatsoever if we breathe this way. If you don't, then that tension is going to creep up in your neck and it's going to creep up into your sound. And that's why we sound bad. That's why I sounded bad when I started, and that's why probably most of us sound bad. Stephen also says, I'm assuming that this is where posture also comes into play. Man, you're way ahead of the game. You're ahead of the game, my man. So posture is a big play in how we sound. And that comes with and posture, like that affects our intonation as well. But I'm going to get into that later. All right, so let's read some comments. So, what we discussed was how to use our big muscles rather than our small muscles. And we have to visualize and really feel where we need to breathe. We cannot breathe from our neck, we cannot breathe from our chest because that's going to create that's going to create tension in our neck and tension in our playing. We want to breathe. We want to breathe from our core. And our core is not just our abs. Our core stretches around the back. It's the sides, it's the abs, and it's the back. So we want to make sure that our body is expanding. However, we're not doing this. We're not bringing the shoulders up for up to our ears. We're not doing that. We're allowing the body to expand just by the breath that we're taking in naturally, not superficially. Right? Our shoulders don't do that by themselves. They naturally raise up to a comfortable position. You can see my shoulders. That's what we want. When people say don't raise your shoulders, they're talking about that. They're not talking about this. That's that natural breath. This is unnatural, superficial. Okay, does that make sense? Cool. Put a number one if that makes sense. All of this really is going to help your sound. So allowing the vibration to happen, allowing your body to expand with a nice natural breath from your core, so there's no tension when you play. So let's apply everything we know to just playing one note, just one note. And um, let's just play low C. If you want to play G, that's cool too. We're just going to play open horns, so just open fingering. If you want to play E in the staff, whatever. If you want to play G above the staff, do your thing. But I want you to apply these principles that we just talked about. Allowing the lips to vibrate and using your big muscles to do the work for you, not the little muscles. One, two. Actually, I'm not going to count. Let's just play. And I want you to play on your own. It should be nice and free. Nice and free. Breathe from your core. Let the tone vibrate. Let the lips vibrate. Now I'll do G. I'll do G. I did low C. Now I'll do G in the staff. Again. Last time you can play the open horn. You don't have to play the note that I'm playing, but you can play the low C, G, E, or G above the staff, C above the staff, whatever fits your fancy. Here we go. Cool? Yeah, that feels good. Long tones, I mean, man, long tones, that's the bread and butter. If you want a good sound, long tones is what you need to do. There's no other way. There's no other way. And if there is another way, it's not the best way. The best way is doing long tones because you're going to strengthen your embouchure. You're going to get a deeper sense, a deeper relationship with the notes that you play. And that's important as trumpet players. We need a deeper relationship with the notes that we play because once you get a sheet of paper, you get that sheet music and you got to play a B above the staff with no reference. You got to know what that B sounds like. You got to know where that B is. I just played my first gig in like 16 months and I was sight reading the whole thing. It was good. However, when you get certain notes, you just got to know them. So that's where long tones come into play. It's much more than just playing one note and sitting there bored. So please, 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 please get fall in love with long tones as much as humanly possible because that's going to be the foundation, the cornerstone of your playing. You can tell if someone has done long tones or not instantly. The first note they play, you can tell. All right, so those are the two concepts. There's another concept I want to go over, and then I'll let you guys go about your day. But let's hit up some questions, some comments. If you're liking this content so far, please, please, please like the video, share the video, give me some little hearts on Instagram. Show me some love. Show me, that this is good information. It's useful. It's applicable. It's actionable information that I'm giving y'all because this is going to help you for sure if you really, really internalize this and apply it to your you're playing. Tim says this is such a great lesson. Trumpet is the most physically and psychologically demanding instrument I've tried to learn. These lessons are so empowering. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. And you're 100% right with the physicality and the mental space that we have to be in to play this instrument. I would have to say, like, trumpet is really 95% mental. It's really about how you think about it. And if your mental isn't right and your approach isn't right, it's not going to sound right. But if you apply these things that I'm teaching you, and you apply it and you really download it into your system, you're going to be a better trumpet player, guaranteed. But you gotta apply this. It's not something that you're going to sit back and watch and just absorb the information. You gotta put it to practice. So Tim, I appreciate you. I appreciate all the folks that are here watching me right now on this live lesson. So thank you so much. Let's see. Let me. We got Ludovic says I do practice yoga a lot to improve my breathing. Yoga, yeah, that's perfect. Yoga is perfect. Is a perfect thing that you can practice a discipline that you can practice and apply it to trumpet playing. All right, let me go over uh, some more questions and comments. Evelyn, I have a problem with dynamic control. Do you have any tips? My lips buzz. Oh, I think I understand what you're doing. Is your lips doing this? Like it's like somewhat of a double buzz. However, the dynamics. How do we control dynamics? We control dynamics by how open or how what's the right term? I want to use the right word because that's really important. How big or how small your aperture size is. That's how we control dynamics. Because we can play a really high note quietly, and we can play a really low note loudly. It's all about the size of your aperture. So I want you to think about if you want to think about size, it's the same. You remember if you guys watched my how to play high notes video, it's the same concept of thinking about the different types of airstream. So in that video, I talk about blowing across the hand, and so that's going to signify, that's going to feel, that's going to be your big airstream. And I want you to practice the transition from a big airstream blowing across the palm to pretending as if your airstream is a laser beam and you're pinpointing the a single spot on your palm. Now, it's not going to feel like a laser beam. I don't want you to make it seem like, man, I don't feel anything. I barely feel anything on my hand. That's not the goal. The goal is to mentally think about you're trying to do it. You're trying to make your airstream like a laser beam, really thin, like a like a those on Star Wars. They got those laser guns. Those, I don't know what you call them, but I really, but you want to think about that. A laser beam. So I want you to transition from a big airstream or a big aperture size. I should say that a big aperture size to a small aperture size. And so, what's that going to signify? That's going to signify, that's going to represent um, like a loud to soft, loud to soft. So big opening across the palm, loud, soft, laser beam. Same airstream, but we're controlling the size of the aperture. So it's going to sound like this, like that. Crescendo, or start off big, slowly get small, and go back to big. I'm not changing. I'm not putting more air into the horn. I'm just opening. I'm making my aperture bigger and smaller. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So that's how we control dynamics. We got Tim. How do you keep the mental stamina while playing long tones? How do you keep from getting bored? That's a good question. How do you stay inspired? That's a great question, Tim. Excellent question, because I'm going to tell you. So, mentally keep how do I mentally stay engaged? That's a great question. And the good thing, the good this is the beautiful thing about being bored. Boredom is not a bad thing, guys. Boredom is a great thing. You want to know why? Because that gives you the mental space to think about other things, to put your mental focus on something else. So being bored means you've mastered something. You've mastered it in a fundamental way. So now you don't have to focus on that alone. So am I just playing a long note just to play a long note? No. I'm playing a long note to check certain things. So here are a few things that I check when I'm doing long tones. Again, I want you to like, trumpet is really mental. It's all about how you think about it. So being bored is a beautiful thing because that allows us to be more creative. So when I do long tones, what am I mentally staying engaged with? Okay, the first thing I'm staying engaged with is my sound steady? Is my sound steady from beginning to end? As steady as possible. Can I make this note as steady as possible without it sounding like this? You hear the waves? Of course, I'm exaggerating, but as you do this, you're gonna find that like it's gonna be really difficult to really keep that note steady. So your mental focus is going to be on how can I make this note steady. I don't want you to think, how can I get rid of the waves? Because you want to know a crazy thing about the brain? The crazy thing about the brain is that it doesn't know the difference between the negative and the positive. So if I say, don't think about a purple elephant, don't think about a purple elephant. You think about a purple elephant. You can picture it now. You can picture that big old purple elephant walking around in the jungle, right? Looking crazy. However, anytime you're thinking, you want to go for the things that you want instead of the things you don't want because the brain doesn't know the difference. So always be about what you want when you're thinking, and then it's going to happen. I know that's kind of some spiritual, stuff, but it's true. So That's one thing. I know I'm going off in a tangent, but that's the one thing. The first thing I'm thinking about is a steady airstream from beginning to end. The second thing, after I'm comfortable with that and it's where I want it to be, the next thing I'll focus on is where is the tension? I want to focus my mind on where can I pinpoint the tension and be more relaxed. So in my mind, I'm going through, I'm making a scan of my body. If you ever seen like a printer, and it's making a picture and it's scanning from top to bottom, imagine that. And I want you to pinpoint, okay, where is the tension in my body? And if you find tension up, if you find tension in that spot, I want you just to try, I want you to relax it. So you're gonna make your mental scan of the tension wherever it is in your body. Is it in your forehead? Is it here? Is it in your eyes? Is it in your nose? This is fine. This needs to be firm. The embouchure I'm talking about, right? That's cool. Chin is cool. We don't worry about that. We don't want no tension up here, get more wrinkles and stuff. We already stressed out. It's fine. So we want to release that. We want to release that tension mentally as I'm playing this note. And so mentally I'm staying engaged. Mentally I'm physically I'm playing the note, but mentally I'm scanning where is the tension and I want to release it, right? So that's number 2. Number 3 is intonation. Number 3 is intonation and tone quality. So once I'm comfortable with one note, then I want to see how can I make this one note feel so good and have the same feeling on each and every note. So I keep, like, for instance, G is like my easiest note. And so I compare every single note to that G. Does it feel the same way as that G? Does it feel as easy? Does it feel free? Is it stable? Am I relaxed when I play this note? And if you go through those checklists, you're gonna be a much relaxed player. It's gonna look like you're not playing because you're gonna be in a Zen mode, right? So how do I do that? There's an expansion exercise called the spider exercise, and so, or any of my band director folks, we call that the Remington exercise, where we're on G and we're just going down in half steps until we go to low C. Remington. That's the Remington exercise. However, there's a more advanced exercise where you go up and down. So you go da da da. So G F sharp, G A flat, G F, G A, G E, G B flat, and you keep going up. So that's a more advanced way, that's a more advanced approach to that exercise. So that's how I'm able to make long tones more mentally engaging. I'm not just sitting there and be like, I'm not just sitting there just playing a note. I'm mentally engaging in these types of activities while I'm playing my long tones. And that's fun to me. And to be real with y'all, it should be fun to you as well. So keep that in mind. That was a great question, Tim. How do you keep mental stamina while playing long tones? How do you keep from getting bored? How do you stay inspired? Doing that gets me inspired. It keeps me mentally engaged. Bam. Great question. All right, one more question, and then I'll get into the last. We're going on an hour here, so one more comment and question, and then I'll get to the next concept. Excuse me. Let's go with DBA Winchester. How much practice is too much practice? I've been picking the horn back up after a few years of not playing, and I've admittedly been playing every day. That's a good question. How much practice is too much practice? Now there is something known as too much practice, and you and that's overuse. You're overusing your embouchure, so you don't want to get to a point where you blow past or you practice past fatigue, right? Because then that's over practice. You're overworking your muscles, your bicularis oris around here, um, because that's just going to reinforce bad habits that we don't want. It's going to reinforce squeezing, using our small muscles to push out the note, right? So we don't want to do that. So that is when you get to a point where you're playing past fatigue, that's too much practice. However, what do you want to do instead? So I'm going to give you something practical. I want you to practice up to the point where you feel a little bit. You practice up to a point where you feel that fatigue kind of creeping in a little bit. Now this is very individual, so you have to be your own barometer on here. So you got to be aware. Awareness is key. If you don't have awareness on playing the trumpet, like it's going to be hard to improve. So awareness of everything is key. So be aware of when you get to a point where that fatigue is kind of creeping in, and then stop. Don't practice to a point where you're fatigued at the end. You're tired. You be like, oh God, and you're dying, right? You don't want to get to that point, because how do we build strength? We build strength during the rest. We build strength when we sleep, because when we practice and we take that rest, our body is recovering from what we did. And especially if we go to sleep, all that knowledge, all that practicing is going to marinate in our dreams and in our sleep, and we're going to come back stronger mentally for it. So, to answer your question with a very long explanation, I know I'm very long-winded, but practice up to a point where you feel a little bit of that fatigue, and then take a break. Come back to it when your embouchure feels fresh. Never practice on an embouchure that is already tired, because you're going to hurt yourself. Cool? Good question. All right, let's go to the last the last concept of this lesson is intonation. Intonation. So how do we have better intonation on the trumpet? How do we have better intonation on the trumpet? So, how do we control the intonation? That's a very uh, that's a very interesting point, and this is how we do it. I want you to repeat after me. I want you to copy what I do. I'm not going to explain it because it will be just be too much. So do what I do. So we're going to play a G in the staff, and we're going to do this, right? So do that. Repeat after me. I'm going to do it again. So, what is that? That's lip bending or lip bending. Now, what you can think about if you want to get deeper and know the actually what I'm doing is the aperture does a lot of things, and that's why I say it's like trumpet is very mental because you have to. It's all about how you think about it. So for me, for me, I'm changing the pitch with my aperture. Ooh. If you can see, ooh, that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of dropping the jaw a little bit, opening up the aperture size. Ooh. So what am I playing? I'm playing G, F sharp, G, and without the fingering. I want you to try that. Try that. Try that for me. Cool, cool. Did you try it? Excellent. I can't see what you're doing, but hopefully you did it. If you hear either live or on the replay. Again, like the video, share the video, comment, tell me where you're from. Don't just sit in the background. I want to see who you are. Tell me what where you're from. Say hi. Say what up. People that are here live, I want to know who I'm talking to. All right, Evelyn, you take care. Thank you for being here. But if you can't do it right now and you got to leave, that's cool too. Just come back and the live stream will be up. It will be up for the replay. And I'll see if I can put some timestamps in the description for you guys. All right. So when it comes to controlling or manipulating the intonation, we have to bend the pitch with our lips. Lip bend. That's what it's called. And so you can also do it the other way. You can go sharp. Now, when I go sharp, when I go up, when I'm lipping the note up, I'm actually using more of my oral cavity. So I'm ooh, ooh. So I'm doing that. I'm moving my chin up. I'm making the aperture a little bit smaller, but I'm also moving in my mind and in how I'm feeling it. I'm moving the aperture. I'm moving the oral cavity up just a little bit. Ooh, ew. So this is my tongue. Ooh, ew. So my fingers is the tip of my tongue. My knuckles is kind of like further back in my tongue. Ooh, ew, ew. So I'm thinking about playing that A flat. So as I'm moving my chin up and making the aperture smaller, I'm also using the inside of my mouth, like my tongue, to raise up in my mouth, to help speed up that air going over my tongue and making the tone sharper, making the tone higher. So do this on as many notes as you can, especially like D. especially those notes up there because they tend to be a little flat most times. Like notes above C, they tend to go flat a little bit on most trumpets. So I want you to practice bending the pitch down, lip bending it down, and lip bending it up. And good question, Gold World Production. Does the air always go over the tongue? In my mind, in my conception of it, yes, because I don't see any other way of the air going underneath the tongue. I don't know. I mean, it might go like around the tongue, but also it eventually has to go above it. Because if the tongue, here's the thing, if the tongue is in the way, it I guess connected to the bottom of our mouth. It's connected, so there's no possible way that if our tongue is high enough or like that the air is going to have a clear pathway out. So in my mind, in my conception, in what I think, I do believe the air is going over the tongue always. Now, do I have statistical, scientific, anatomy, hardcore evidence? No. I just have my experience. And so if I am wrong, I'm going to be a more informed player. So I'm going to figure that out, right? So good question, though. All right, so that's how you control the intonation. Besides just moving the main tuning slide, because when you're in a real like performance situation, you don't have time to be fumbling with your main tuning slide. And sometimes in the bottom, the slides, the third valve tuning slide and the first valve tuning slide are just for particular notes. And um, sometimes those slides don't help. So you have to kind of adjust the pitch like it's a knob on a radio, um, or a knob on uh, the stove. If you you gotta adjust the knob on the stove to make it hot or cool, hotter or hot or less hot, right? but but yeah, so the thing is, it's not that like really good players, it's not that they have perfect intonation. It's just that their ability to change the intonation quickly makes it seem as if they have perfect intonation. So what I would do in my own practice is see how fast I can change and get the pitch in tune, like on the money, fast as possible. And I would practice that using lip bends to like fine tune the intonation. And then I would hold it out. I would hold out that note and try to keep it as long as it's possible so I can get a deeper connection with where that note slots the best. Does that make sense? I have a video. I have a video that actually goes over this process in detail. And I show you the metronome, or not the metronome, but I show you the tuner. I show you and tell you how I'm thinking about it and doing it. I want you to search on my channel how to improve your sound part 2. Part 2. How to improve your sound part 2. And I go over this process in depth in that video. But when it comes to intonation, that's what I'm doing. I'm adjusting the pitch with my embouchure, with my aperture and my oral cavity. So I want you to play around. I want you to have fun and try to manipulate the pitch, lip it up, lip it down on as many notes as you can. And the higher you go, the more difficult it's going to be because you got to keep the air going and support it. So that's that's um, that's concept number three. So we talked about three concepts. The first concept being if you come in late. The first question being, or the first concept being allowing the lips to vibrate rather than make them vibrate. The second one being using your big muscles to have a big sound instead of your little muscles to have a little sound. And then the third concept is adjusting intonation with the oral cavity, with the aperture, right? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? That's excellent. I got 25 people watching. I got 2 people on Instagram. Go ahead, give me some hearts on Instagram if you're enjoying this content. Give me some likes on this video. Share it with your friends. Share it with your trumpet buddies. Share it with people who are teachers who aren't trumpet players but need this information to help them probably get better at the instrument, to teach their students because they're not trumpet players in and of themselves. So share this information, folks, because this is the information I had to pay for thousands of dollars. This is information I had to work for hundreds of hours in the practice room, hundreds, if not thousands of hours in the practice room, and I had to learn and go through. Now, all you got to do is watch this video for hours and some minutes and get all this information for free. So, the like button is free, so please go ahead and hit that like button for me. Share this video. Share button is free. Go ahead and share this video for me. Now, I'm not opposed to you dropping a little something in my pocket as well. So I got the Cash App scrolling on the screen. Cash App AM Wash. You can also support me on patreon.com/the Black Trumpeter if you enjoy the content. All right, let's get to some. That was my last concept. Let's get to some questions. And I also want to help someone if someone is brave enough to come on the come on the broadcast. I'm going to share. I'm going to share the link in the chat. So anyone that needs some help, needs some free, even more free content, more free help, I want you to join the show so I can hear you and I can help you give you some advice, some feedback, all that. So here's the link to join the show. Also on Instagram, if you want to request to join, that's cool too. All right, let's hit up some questions. Steven says, maybe to restate my question, do you ever use your tongue to basically reset if you need to make a quick tone shift? As far as intonation, yes. So say if I'm going a little high on the pitch, like especially for like G, I tend to maybe overshoot it. G above the staff. Like I would do that. I would I would kind of not reset, but I would like dial it back. Like bring my oral cavity down to see if I can place the note in the center more. because as you heard, that pitch was on the high side of the pitch, and so I had to bring it down with my embouchure, oral cavity, and aperture. So yeah, and it is a quick shift. So like if you ever heard the CSO, like they play. If you heard this, like the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, if you ever heard them play, even on recordings, like you're gonna think that they are perfectly in tune. No, they're not perfectly in tune. They just they just change they adjust quicker than our ears can they can adjust quicker than our ears can figure it out. And or they just know where that note is and they can just like hit it. But that comes with knowing where that note is. That comes from hearing the pitch, hearing the note in tune. Because if you don't hear it in tune, you ain't gonna play it in tune. That's why I said trumpet is 95% mental. The 5% is actually practicing the doggone thing. so, uh, so yeah. Thank you so much. I'm not going to butcher your name, but you say great content, man. These are the details that make sense. Great. I'm glad everything makes sense. Hopefully, everything is crystal clear. I try to make my teaching as crystal clear and concise as possible, even though I do ramble, even though I do, maybe I'm a little long winded, but I'm trying to prove a point and make sure that I'm leaving no stone unturned. I think that's the phrase, but yeah. Do jazz trumpeters use bottom slide a lot? Is it a normal practice? Yes. So I would say um, I'm not gonna say all. I mean, jazz trumpeters I mean, they're improvising most times, so they're probably not thinking about. They're not thinking about moving the. They're not thinking about intonation. They're putting their mental focus on the music. And so that's why you hear like if you listen to like older recordings of you know those cats are going to be out of tune. They're going to be sharp, they're going to be flat. However, it doesn't for me it doesn't take away from the music. So, answer your question really nicely and I want to be concise. Yes, they use it and sometimes they don't. But it's a great practice to get in the habit of. So it's just automatic. So I would say practice your scales at a slow tempo, and I want you to use the slide for the appropriate notes every time, and then speed it up, and then do that on a consistent basis every day, and then over time it's just going to be second nature. Every time you play a D, you're going to kick that third valve tuning slide out. Every time you play an F, you're going to kick that first valve tuning slide out, so on and so forth. Good question. I do. Says, when you stop playing the trumpet for a long time, does it have any effect when you pick it up again? Of course. Yeah, of course, because trumpet is kind of like riding a bike, only if you have good fundamentals in place. If if you don't have those good fundamentals in place, it's not going to be like riding a bike. It's going to be like trying to run with cement blocks on, with cement shoes on, right? So, but it's not over for any of my comeback players. It's not over for you guys. It just means that you have to kind of warm up into getting your fundamentals back into order, strengthening up your embouchure if it's a little weak. So doing some long tones, really focusing on having a good warm up routine, a good practice routine where you're hitting all the necessary fundamentals, all the necessary fundamentals so you can get better. So it does affect it, but that just means that you just have to pay closer attention to fundamentals and how you practice. Let's see, T. Using the slide helps to have the skill and using it decisively. Like you can choose when to use it and benefit from it, and don't use it to say in fast simple scale changes. I mostly use it for ballads. Oh, so I see you're referring to the whole jazz trumpeters using the tuning slide. Yeah, use it when it's necessary. Use it when you're like if you're, but especially use it on a ballad because everybody can hear your tone on a ballad. So if you're out of tune, it's a slow tempo, is you're playing slower notes, um, unless you're doing some double time stuff during the entire thing, but that probably wouldn't be the best. But on a ballad for sure, because your tone is so exposed. It's like a magnifying glass on that bad boy on ballads. So use that tuning slide. Make sure you can hear those pitches in your head and in tune. So good insight on that. Thank you, T. Let's see. Am I missing anything? Anyone who wants to call in, please do. I would love to help somebody, at least one person before I leave. Okay, answer that question. What's up, Billy from Los Angeles? I don't know if you're still here, but they're saying Billy is saying, "What up from Los Angeles? Lip bends are useful for the blues. Yeah, yeah. Lip bends are also good for stylistic purposes. So it doesn't hurt to practice lip bends. So I just put the link in the chat. If you want to join, click that link, and in you'll be in the waiting room, and I can check you in. Melanie says, "How to set up good warm up routine." That's a great question. A good warm up routine for me, or for anyone, it has these components. The first being the mental component. So I need you to mentally be ready to practice. So take some time to close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths. It doesn't have to be like an exercise, but I need you to mentally be ready for the day, mentally ready for practicing. The last thing you want is life, all that to be in the practice room, because what you want to do is just really focus on your craft, work, focus on the trumpet just for these maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right? So, first, we got to be mentally prepared. That's one. I like to um, just close my eyes and just if you like to meditate, then meditate. If you like to pray, then pray. If you like to whatever you want to do, then do that. The next thing is after you do that, after you're really clear, then you want to do some breathing exercises. And this is going to be like actual breathing exercises to really reinforce good fundamentals with the breath. So, breathing in for 4 and doing intervals of different beats. So, in for 4, out for 4, in for 4, out for 8, in for 4, out for 12, in for 4, out for 16. And that's going to really help you be more aware of the your ability to take in air and then your ability to sustain that airstream over a long period of time, right? So that's, let me speed this up. So, mental practice, um, breathing exercises, long tones. If you if you you can do some lip buzzing if you want to, lip buzzing, um, mouthpiece buzzing, but get mentally clear, breathing exercises, lead pipe buzzing of some sort, and then long tones, right? To warm up that air, warm up the trumpet. And then for me, I go from long tones to flexibility because I want that long tone, I want that note and that sound to carry out through the rest of the notes that I'm going to play for that day. So do some tongue slurs. So on and so forth. Or you can do that Remington exercise that I showed you guys earlier, or the advanced like spider exercise. So that's flexibility. Next, you want to cover scales and arpeggios, just to warm up your fingers and also warm up your tongue with some articulation by slurring, by tonguing them, uh, or a combination of the two. And then you're warmed up. For me, I'm warmed up. Um, for me, that shouldn't take no more than 20 minutes at max. 20 minutes maybe. But yeah, for me, that's a good warm up. I know that I'm fully warmed up. Now, if you're really pressed on time, I want you to be creative. I want you to be I want you to be experimentative, if that's a word. I want you to experiment with how can you consolidate your warm up so you can practice what you can warm up on what you need to warm up the fundamentals, and then like hurry up and get to the stage so you can start playing. So have different versions of your warm up. A longer version, a short version that's maybe half or a fraction of your long version, and then have like a medium version where it's maybe like a third of that. So maybe I'll go over that too, like go into detail about creating a warm up routine, creating a practice routine. That'll probably be a good topic. Last question, then I'll get to Ludovic. Hopefully, I'm saying your name right. So sorry, my brother, if I'm saying it wrong. You're gonna correct me when you get on here. But T says, I had a question. Any tips for learning music theory for trumpet, like transposition and general basic music theory knowledge? I'm mostly self-taught and don't have the base of formal teaching. That's a good question. So, um, the best way to learn music theory is through playing, really. And the best way to learn and practice trumpet is through playing. So, in that aspect, I'm going to have to redirect you to my patreon.com. Patreon. Go to patreon.com/the black trumpeter because I have a book in there that's the perfect book for all of my adult learners, all of my comeback players, all of my beginner players out there. There's a great book that you need to get, and it's going to help you from where you are right now as maybe you're a beginner or whatever, or if you're more experienced, you have some experience, but you have some potholes in your fundamentals, right? I want you to get this book and play it from cover to cover because it's very progressive, very progressive, and it will teach you theory as you go along. It will teach you how to read music. It will teach you about keys. It will teach you about key signatures, time signatures, all of that while playing the trumpet. So you're not just learning theory just to learn theory. You're applying the theory that you learn by playing the instrument. So, and on my Patreon, there's a post that's called Mystery Book Revealed. Again, it's called Mystery Book Revealed on my Patreon. Go check that out because the con to this book is that it doesn't come with play along recordings. So what I've done is record play I'm recording play along audio tracks for this book and making it available to my private students and making it available to my patrons. So go there if you're interested in that. And yeah, good question. All right, here we go. We got Lou. We got Lou on the call. Make sure that you are your YouTube is paused or muted so we don't get any feedback. Hello? Hello, tell me your name.
Hello?
Hey, I can hear you. Great.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? You are on the Fix My Fundamentals live show. Welcome. How do you pronounce your name? Connection is a bit slow,
Hello?
so maybe if you can connect to a stronger connection, maybe get to your router. We got Keith saying, your 6 steps of heaven exercise is A1 sauce after lip slurs. Thank you, my man. All right, let's see. How can I improve it? Uh, maybe if you're connected to a stronger Wi-Fi, maybe connect to a stronger Wi-Fi and then try it again. All right. We got Daniel with the question. How, let's see, how am I doing on time? Okay, hour and 30 minutes. Cool. Daniel, your question is, you got advice for an embouchure if you have big lips? My bottom lip tends to stick out of the mouthpiece from the sides, and the higher I go, even though it doesn't feel like it, I'm not supporting. Very good question. I I have big chops as well. So what I do is I tuck them in. Like so instead of my embouchure looking like this, and then I put my mouthpiece on, you see the red of my lip, like right here? What I want to do is what I want to do is tuck in my lip to where I'm able to at least get the top lip in the cup. So you see how I'm tucking in my lips like this. So you don't see the red part of my lip, see? Versus this. Versus see that lip hanging out? So that's what I do. That's what I do. I tuck in my lips a little bit. So I'm able to get the bottom lip and the top lip inside the cup. and I want the inside of the rim to be just above my top lip, and the inside of the rim to be just below my bottom lip, if possible. If possible. If you're not able to do that, try to get as much as you can. And then once you do that, I need you to blow a steady stream of air. Don't make a sound. And by doing that, I want you to focus on the air. No, I don't want there to be any leakage on the sides. So I want you to focus on having firmer corners. And if you feel like there's some leakage on the side, besides all the air going into this mouthpiece, I want you to make a mental note and try to get that airstream inside that mouthpiece. Doing that is going to help like really focus the airstream, and especially when you start playing, that's going to really strengthen up your corners and strengthen up your embouchure, because you're using those muscles to really pinpoint that airstream. So I tuck my lips in as much as I can. I'm not rolling them in like this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm just tucking them in a little bit. They're not over my teeth. They're like right against my teeth. And then making sure that I have the inside rim is just above, just a little bit above my top lip, and just a little above, and just a little bit below my bottom lip. And then last thing, I need you to blow and make sure that you have a steady airstream uh, going inside the mouthpiece, and close off any parts where there's leakage. And then, like I said before in this broadcast or this show, slowly bring the lips together to see where they want to vibrate. And then that's your embouchure. That's your embouchure right there. All right, let's try it again, Lou. No problem, Daniel. You got it. Just keep working on that every day. And it's going to get better. Your tone is going to get better. Um, but remember to support from the core. I talk about that. I talk about that earlier in the stream. But yeah, if anyone else wants to join in the stream, if you want me to hear you, or if you're not too shy, please don't be too shy. I would love to help somebody on the show. If you're having some troubles with your sound, come on the show, and I would love to help you, give you some free feedback so you have something to work on, especially if you're not working with any other, if you don't have a private teacher and you just need somebody to hear you. Sometimes you just need somebody to hear you and then give some outside perspective to get better. So I'm putting some links in the chat. So click the link in the chat, and then you'll be on. But I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. I want to answer some more questions. Any more questions you guys have for me, I want to answer them. Lou, that actually looks way better. That looks pretty good. Cool, cool. That looks better. Let's see. can hear you. I can hear the sound. It's just a little bit slow, my man. Maybe say something real quick. Where you're from? How do you pronounce your name so I can see? Let's check the connection. It's still slow. It's stuttering. Listen. So look here. So how about this? Contact me. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's a little bit slow. So contact me uh, on Instagram, and then we can link up there. Because I know you have a burning question, and I want to hear you and help you as much as possible. So follow me on Instagram, and then we could I can help you there. Cool. So for anybody that's having some connection issues, go to my Instagram and DM me um, at the Black Trumpeter on Instagram, and then we can link up. I can help you out as much as I can. Send me a video of your playing. Hey, what's up, John? John said, "Thanks, Aaron, for your book of knowledge. I still got more knowledge to learn. I still got more stuff to learn, but I just want to share what I have because there's a lot of people that need to hear it and need to apply this knowledge. But I'm gonna get out of here. Innocent, you said, how do I solve big lip issue? I talked about that earlier in the live stream in detail, really. And so after this live stream is done, go back to the pretty much the end of this stream, and I go into depth about how to do that. Oh, folks can't join. Let's see. Let me share. Let me share the link again. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Click this link, and you should be able to join. This is the most. It should be the most recent link. If you're having troubles with the link, let me know, and then I'll just refresh the link and add another link to the chat. No problem, Lou. Lou, contact me on Instagram. I love to help. It's something with your connection. I don't think it's because you're from Canada, but uh, let's see. I think I found your comment, but now it's lost. Let's see. Oh, I apologize. There's something with the connection. I'm from Calgary, Canada. Nice. Welcome. But Lou, contact me. Go to my Instagram, or anybody that's having some internet issues. Go to Instagram at the Black Trumpeter. DM me, and then we can connect through there. And I can help you as much as possible. V Dub, V Dub. We got VW saying, "Hey Aaron, not a question, just a quick thanks for all the super useful stuff from a total trumpet newbie from London. Much appreciated." Thank you so much, VW, for being here and soaking up this knowledge. Now, uh, folks, go ahead and apply it. I need y'all to apply this knowledge. So rewatch this and try to practice what I'm going over as much as possible. And if you have any questions, hit me up. Like, oh, this is what you said, and this what's happening. How can I get better? Stuff like that. So I appreciate all y'all for being here, and we got gold in the waiting room. So I appreciate y'all. Make sure you like the video, share the video, and yeah. All right, gold.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's nice and clean and clear, my man.
That's what I figured.
Uh-oh. Uh, I got you on the laptop. I tried to connect to the laptop, but I got to do it on my phone. But yeah, I've been watching and I was trying to make the sound with the mouthpiece.
Okay.
I don't even want to really embarrass myself with the trumpet, but
All right, let's do it with the. Let's just do it with the mouthpiece then. Cool, cool, cool. So here's a great thing. We actually don't need to buzz our lips to play the trumpet,
oh man.
and it's a lot easier. Watch, try this. So you can actually go ahead and put your mouthpiece on the trumpet. And so form your embouchure like you usually do, but I want you just to blow air. Relax the middle of the lips. They're a little tight, but separate, make sure the lips are separate so you don't make a buzz. Even more, separate the middle of the lips so you're not making a buzz.
See, that's gonna be the problem I've been doing it for a while. Like even though I just got the trumpet, but I
When did you
just
get the
can't.
trumpet?
Hmm?
When did you get the trumpet? When did you start
I
playing?
just got it 2 days ago.
Wow, 2 days, so extra
Yeah.
fresh. All right,
Yeah.
cool, cool, cool. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to pretend like not forming your embouchure at all. I want you to blow as if you're blowing out birthday candles, right? So we want that same blow while we form our embouchure.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when you pull down the amateur, then I got a tendency to just pull it right back up when it's time for me to blow. So when I pull it down, and I'm just like, I'll pull it right back up.
Like that. You bring the bottom lip up like this,
Yeah,
like that.
this is what I do. So I'm ready to.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So this is going to be really funny, and we're both going to look funny together. Okay. All right. So you're going to form your embouchure, right? And then I want you to say your name. My name is
Ed,
my name is Aaron.
Ed,
You should say it. Do it again.
Ed. You see,
Right? You see how your middle of your lips are. You see how the middle of your lips are really tight. So I can still talk to you, and I'm forming my embouchure. I'm firming my corners, and I look crazy doing it, but the middle of my lips are relaxed. Now, if I do the opposite, if my lips are totally firm, you can't understand what I'm saying because my lips are too tight in the middle. But if they're free,
I guess that's just something I'm gonna be working on for like quite a while. So what kind of? So that's why I was asking the question about the tongue. Like before you if you're trying to change notes, I'm just trying to blow a note. Period.
right,
But
right.
where should your tongue even be placed originally? Like on the bottom of your teeth, on the top of your teeth?
That's a good question.
Like is it near like the armature? See, because like is it somewhere around here? Like
Like between the teeth. For me
not that's
person,
I
for
guess
me
that's between the teeth,
personally,
but is it almost like blocking or help aiding the airstream come out?
here's a way
No.
to here's a way to kind of figure that out. I want you to do what I call, or what my teacher in Illinois State called, wind patterns, right? So I want you to do this. So repeat after me. So you're going like this. You're kind of doing like tia tia tia. I want you to go Do. Yeah. Now let's get rid of that like little whisper. I want it to be a little bit more open than that. I want it to sound like this. So copy what I do. Yeah. That's it. Do it again. That's exactly what we want. We want the sound to be nice and open because performing our embouchure and that's open, that means the tongue is getting out the way. Because what's happening, I'm going to tell you right now, where the tongue should be out the way.
Mm.
So when we do that, we got to make sure, like if we're tonguing, as soon as we tongue, the rebound of the tongue, meaning um, the getting out of the way part is fast. So as soon as we articulate, it's out the way. So this is my tongue.
So yeah, that's what I was kind of trying to ask. So are you kind of like building up pressure with your tongue before the note is ready to be released?
That's a great question. And it's a very advanced question. But for now, I want you to think about I want you to think about um, just getting that tongue out the way as quick as possible.
That's even harder because now I'm kind of focusing on the tone when I feel like it wasn't an issue at first. Like so,
Right.
because I
So
just had.
that's why I try not to talk like really technical because then you're thinking about the technique rather than the sound that I want you to produce. Is there a way to like turn down your volume a little bit?
Oh yeah. Is it the microphone that's kind of picking up?
Maybe I think someone's saying that like there's it's feeding back, but I'm not really hearing any feedback on my end. But
You know what? I probably have to close my laptop. I have my laptop open right next to it.
oh, gotcha.
That's
Okay.
probably what it is. I turn it off. All right. How about now?
Let me check it real quick. Wait, before we go to the trumpet, open up a little bit more because it sounds like this. I want it to be more open, so make it sound like this.
All right. Let me turn you back up. All right. Now you said it should sound like
So instead of yeah, that's it.
almost like a stumping sound.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's the sound what we want. That's the approach that we want. That's the approach that we want, and that's the that's what we want. Now let's apply it to the trumpet. We're just playing. Now we're applying it to the trumpet, and we're just doing air. We're doing the same thing that we just did, but through the trumpet.
Uh-oh.
Same thing that we just did, but the lips are not touching at all. So it's same thing. Yes.
Jeez.
Try it again. So do the wind pattern again, and then go straight to the trumpet. Yeah. Do that again. But you see how you're getting that whistling sound? I want it to be more open so you don't get a sound. You don't get a buzz. like you're blowing out candles. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh man, I know people having fun with this one.
A lot of people are learning because a lot of people are doing this. A lot of people are doing this.
Yeah, this is it's really
But
this
you're
is
getting
really the
better. You're
start.
getting
You
better.
gotta
Keep
get.
doing it because the more you do it, the better you get. So listen to my airstream. Listen to my airstream. Versus, you hear the difference?
Yeah, yeah, it's a big difference.
You're right.
It
Right.
almost, but when I'm actually doing it, it seems like I'm doing it.
I just want you to match my sound as much as possible. Maybe try. I want you to make more of a pucker instead of this.
So what's the pucker?
Like pucker your lips.
So you really just almost like a whistling.
Yeah, almost like you're whistling, but not whistling. You just you're forming your
Maybe it's the
your
gap
mouth.
in my tooth, man. Hold on.
I have
Let's
big
go.
teeth too, so I understand. That's it. That's it. Now keep doing that and bring the horn to your face.
All right, so I want to let you know too. When I'm doing the tongue is coming from the top, the roof of my mouth, slapping to the bottom.
What? So here's the thing. The thing is, whatever you're doing to make that happen, make that sound happen, to me, that's the right thing. Because
Yeah.
you're going for the sound.
Okay.
Because we're all individuals. I can tell you what my tongue is doing, and it's not going to be the same thing for you. It's not going to be the same for everybody else. I can tell you exactly what my tongue is doing, but that's probably just going to confuse you and everybody else because everybody else is different. Everyone's anatomy is different, right? So whatever it takes to get this sound, that's right. Try the pucker again, like you're whistling. Yep. Yes. Yep. That's what I want. Yes. Good. So I want you to blow one time and make sure that that airstream is consistent. Like it's like this. Like that. So just blow one long one.
I can hear it just shaking in there.
Yeah. So we're gonna that's you're gonna have to this is your day 2, day 3, right? So the embouchure still needs to strengthen up. So that's just normal, okay? So the more you do long tones and stuff and play, the stronger this is gonna be, this muscle right here, the bicularis oris around here. Right? So it's gonna shake, but but that's fine. So now what I want you to do, let's make that long blow, but I want you to bring the lips together slowly in the middle until a note wants to happen. So we're gonna allow the lips to vibrate. So try that.
So is that two lips too close?
So if you're getting this,
Now you sound like
sound, right?
yeah, that's me right there.
Try to do that.
You gotta wet your lips too.
Wet your lips. Yeah, yeah. Yep. So start out with air. Slowly bring the lips together until that note wants to happen. Take a deep breath. So like this.
Oh man. I'm moving a lot of furniture in here. I'm sorry, guys.
It's
It's
fine. So what I want you to focus on now, you have the wind, right? You have the air, but it's just a matter of your conception of how far that air is going. Because this is what it sounds like. Kind of sounds like that, right?
mm,
It's like really tiny. In my mind, it seems like you're blowing just up to there. Like this is how far your air goes.
mm-hmm.
That's how I see your sound. Now, I want you to conceptualize the air going through the horn.
So it's conceptualized almost like actually putting me in more wind, even though,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I want you to think about putting more air into the horn, essentially, right? But I want you to think about that your air is going through your instrument rather than it just like stopping right here. So try that. It's all about, I want you to think about your airstream is going across the room. Yeah, that's better. And you're actually getting a higher sound. You're getting, right? You're moving that air. So try that again, and I want you to, again, think about the air going through the instrument. Yeah. That's
So
it.
why does it change at the end, bro? Like, why did it change at the end? Was it just loss of breath or what?
It's a combination of the two. It's a
Yeah.
combination of you had less air, so you blew less, and then it's a combination of uh, your oral cavity. Your oral cavity was lower. So when we want to play higher sound, so trumpet is all about this. Trumpet is all about vocalization. So using our tongue or using the oral cavity and using um, language to help us play the instrument. So what do I mean by that? Language to help us play. So ah as in AW or AH, that's like neutral position where our tongue is, like just floating in the middle of our mouth, right? Ah, like ah as in
Oh,
awesome, ah.
oh.
And then I want you to do E as in pizza, E. So what do you think about that position? Does the tongue
Oh. See, when I think of ah, my tongue is arch.
okay,
Oh,
okay. And then when you
and
do
E,
E, I'm talking
E.
about like not the tip of the tongue. I'm talking about the back of the tongue. What does the back of
Yep,
the tongue do?
E, or like my whole tongue is just moving back and it's filling, almost filling up, like the back of my mouth. When I say E,
So what is the back going on?
Well, no, all is filling up the back, and then I think it's kind of like lower.
Is lower. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
E,
When you go
oh,
E, E,
E,
E,
E,
where is the back of the tongue? Is
oh,
it touching the roof of your mouth? The back of the
oh,
tongue. E.
yeah, the fuck,
Oh,
oh,
E.
E, oh, yeah. When I say it's more, the tongue is more in the back of the mouth.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay. But I'm talking about the height, like the level.
The level of it is yes, touching the top too.
When you say what? A or E?
Oh, oh, feel
When you
like
say
it, but not the front of the tongue. The back of the tongue is like
okay.
the front of the tongue is just floating in the air. It's just
Okay. And then when you say E, what's going on in your mouth?
it's at the bottom.
Which part of the
E,
tongue is at the bottom?
the whole thing is at the bottom. Pretty much. E, 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 E. It's at
E.
the bottom. E,
Interesting. Okay. Let's try
E.
this. Let's try this. The next position is ooh. Ooh.
Ooh,
Ooh.
ooh.
What is your tongue doing then?
Man, I'm probably got a weird tongue, man. Maybe I can't pick up on where my tongue actually is, and it probably explain it because it still feel like the last one.
Okay. It feels like all, or it feels like none.
E O ooh. Now that kind of feel different. Ooh.
So let's put it into practice. So let's play this note again because you did really well. Yep, yep, yep. Now I want you to hold that note out and then drop it down to this note.
Yeah, I know that one ain't coming out.
That's coming out because
So, what should I be using? The R, E, ooh.
I want you to think.
What should I think of?
I want you to think. Ah.
Oh.
Ooh.
See now, when you're thinking of all, how can you blow at the same time if you?
The thing is, I'm not singing. I'm not my vocal cords. I'm not singing. I'm not singing, but I'm using the same motion.
Okay. Well, man, that's it. Wow, wow, that's crazy. Oh,
Wait, try it again.
E. See now I'm trying to change it with my wind. I'm literally just trying to say. Hold on, hold on. O E O.
That's fine. You're 2 days in. This is really good for 2 days in. It's going to be the reason being is because it's going to be inconsistent. That's fine. It's just a matter of getting it to a point where it is consistent, and you're on your way.
O
Oh. So that's G, C. That's the notes you're playing.
O
Ah.
O O.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, my man.
Yes. That's something that I can actually put in my head for like a drill to actually think of it that way. I think I'll definitely get better doing it that way because I don't know. I was just lost because trying to doing it with like wind velocity and just like tightening my lips and opening it up and just forming an embouchure. That's a task in itself.
It's a lot to go. It's like rubbing our head and patting our belly, right?
which
It's
is
a
which
lot.
is easy compared to this.
Right. Anything is easy. Everything compared to the trumpet is easy, right? But listen here, you created a great sound even at
Thank you.
2 days in. With not doing this, we didn't do that.
I thought that was the main. That's another thing. I thought
We
that was the
didn't
main.
do. We didn't buzz our mouthpiece. We just blew air and we allowed the lips to happen, like I talked about earlier in this class or in this lesson. Um, and that's the easy way. That's the easy way to play this instrument. And you just demonstrated it perfectly.
Thank you. Thank you.
So to me, that's a win, not only for you, but for me to really prove my point. Like this stuff works.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So great stuff, man. So keep. Well, any other questions you have for me before I got two other callers on the line?
No, that's pretty much it. I want to, learn something else from somebody else. Maybe I can pick up something else, and I'm gonna just keep practicing the ah, e, ooh until I get it right and tune right back in to, keep getting assistance on.
That sounds good, man. Thank you for coming on, and I appreciate you. And I'm glad I was able to help any way I could.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
All right, bye.
Thanks.
All right, folks. Good stuff, right? Good stuff. All right, Lou. I think your looks like your connection is good. Let's try you again, my man. Yay, we got a smooth connection. I don't know if
Finally, thank you very much for your patience.
no problem.
Hi from Canada, from Calgary.
Now, how do you pronounce your name? I don't want to pronounce it wrong.
You were absolutely correct. Ludovic, that's fine.
Ludovic.
I'm from Eastern Europe, so it's always causing the trouble, but you didn't have any trouble with that.
Nice. Excellent. So what's happening? How can I help?
I've been practicing trumpet for already a couple of years as my probably third instrument after jazz guitar being my first one.
Yeah, I remember.
And I got someplace to the basics, but I don't think I sound right
Okay.
pitch-wise.
Okay.
Okay, if I can play something very
Go
easy,
ahead. Play
like
something for me.
C major or something,
Yeah,
and you
play
can
C
hear
major.
and watch my embouchure or whatever.
Try that. Try just a C major scale.
Sure.
Nice, nice. So what's ends up happening is that first note is a little stuffy. It's a little stuffy, but as you play, it blossoms and it gets bigger. So the thing with you is everyone's problem, everyone's issue, and so that is making sure that the teeth are open. So I want you to think when you're playing the instrument, I want you to think the teeth are more open than closed. Because if my teeth are closed, this is the sound that I'm going to get. Right? It sounds kind of stuffy, right? But if I have my teeth open and separated, it's going to be a lot more open. Try that. Try that. Yeah. That sounded 100 times better than me. What do you think?
I don't know. Probably adjusted to the previous system more. So yeah, sure. That's a good suggestion to keep the teeth open, right?
Yeah, to keep the teeth open because we need air to pass through. So if the teeth are closed, then that's allowing less air to pass through. So we want to keep it open as much as possible so we have a nice open, big, broad sound. From start to finish. It wasn't what was interesting and cool about how you played is that it was just the first note that was a little stuffy, then you opened up a little bit. So for you, I would say it's just a matter of making sure the tone quality from note to note is the same.
It looks to me when I'm practicing, like the beginning is always harder and then it gets better. So I don't know.
So it's just a matter of muscle memory. So like knowing what it feels like to play with a certain type of sound. So let's just play that C. And so I think with you, what you can practice, like a drill that you can do, is target practice. So we're gonna do one note on beat one, C two, three, four, C two, three, and I want you to have a nice open and broad sound right on beat one in time. Yeah. Now let's clean that up a bit. We're gonna pretend like we're in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, or what's the orchestra near you?
CPO,
All
Calgary
right.
Philharmonic
So
Orchestra.
we're
I
gonna we're
love it.
gonna we're gonna pretend like we're playing in that orchestra.
Okay.
And so how they're gonna play it, I can guarantee you, it's gonna be da. And if you can hear like the vibration in my room, da. So keep the oral cavity open and don't stop the note with the tongue. So this is what you're doing. And I'm exaggerating, but I want you to when you stop the note, I want you to just stop blowing and keep the oral cavity open. Da. Try that. Yeah. Yep. Perfect. Yes. That's it. That's the sound we want. Really nice and resonant, open, free. Just by doing a few things. We make sure that our teeth are open. We made sure that when we play the note, it's accurate and it exactly where we want it to be in time. And the third thing we did is make sure that we allowed the note to resonate by just stop blowing and keeping the oral cavity open. There's a trumpet player and educator. His name is Greg Spence, and I stole this from him. It's we want our body to be the concert hall. This might not be his complete concept, but it's a wonderful concept. So when we think of a concert hall, there's big tall ceilings. There's big wide open space for all the notes to like really ring. So we want to copy that in our body as much as possible.
Yeah, I sometimes have the feeling when I'm playing, like let's say some of those jazz hands out of the real book,
Okay.
then I can't really play it on time. Sometimes it's delayed. Well, most of the time it's delayed.
Okay. So that's just I would do what we just did, but not just on the one. Do this on the and of one. Do this on two, then the and of two. Like this. One, two, three, four, one, three, four, one. And so we're practicing different parts of the beat in time.
Yes.
So whatever that note might be for you, say if it's Sunny Moon for two. Sunny Moon for two is a riff melody, riff blues. So it happens on the and of one. One, two, 3, 4. That first note comes in on the end of 1. So what I would do, I would take I would take the end of 1 and just practice that. That first note is C in the staff. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. And of course, you want to do this with a metronome so it keeps you honest.
Yes.
But practice that way. Practice target practice. Practice the note on the downbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then also practice notes on the ends of the beat. End of 1, end of 2, end of 3, end of 4. And that's going to help with your time so much, a lot. Another, like, I'm gonna say this though. In jazz, most jazz, the subdivision is triplets. So triplet, 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 do da do da do da do da, triplet, 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 triplet. So the end of the beat is that last note of the triplet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, dot, 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 dot. That's the swing beat. It's a different feel than the straight eighth note feel.
So it's a triple concept, basically.
It's a triplet concept, yeah.
Yeah.
Versus a duple concept.
Yes.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and, or now the triplet concept, do da da do da da do da da do do dot 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 dot. It's a different feel. So I would practice the swing ands and the straight ands because they're totally two different feels altogether.
Yes, and if I can ask you about that slide over here, right? I keep battling with that, like trying to use it at the correct notes, especially D, C sharp, what else? That's probably it, right?
D, C sharp, E flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, those notes, that's pretty much it.
And I'm trying to make it automatic, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if my grip is good, it's causing me trouble,
Oh, okay. So try it. Is that your ring finger?
That's my ring finger, yes.
Okay. Maybe try it with your middle finger.
With the middle finger?
Yeah. See which one is easier. Your ring finger.
This one doesn't get that far, right? The ring finger gets a little further, so I don't know.
Maybe try not to put a lot of your finger in the hole, because then you're just like, for me, I have just like the tip of the finger in there. Like that, instead of like the whole finger. So try just the tip of the finger instead. Because with more of the knuckle and more of the finger in there, there's like more movement. And it's like a little clunky. So try just like, like that far.
Yeah. It's a different grip with those fingers at the bottom. I'm not used to it. But does it really need to be moved a lot or just a bit?
Just a bit. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be a lot. Okay, but my wife is telling me I gotta go. We gotta go pick up some furniture.
Aaron, thank you very much for what you're doing for us. I really appreciate that.
No problem. I thank y'all for being here. Let me hit up Steven real quick, and then I gotta go.
Okay. Thanks again.
Ludovic, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. See you.
See you. All right, Steven, real quick, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on here? All right. So basically, it was kind of the question I was asking in chat, but the changing of my notes without that horrible beginner sound. So for example, like I'll just play C chromatic scale.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
So,
yeah.
your issue with is your sound. Your sound is good. However,
Mhm.
there's lots of movement happening with your trumpet only because of the way that you're holding it.
So which way would you say I
So
should change that?
I don't think you need to probably change anything, but put less of the finger inside the hole.
Oh, into the
Yeah,
ring
yeah,
there
yeah.
for the sliding
Into the
belt.
ring,
Okay.
into the ring. So
So how do
I'm
you
not
usually do it?
uh it's like that much of the
Oh, okay.
finger instead of like that much,
Right.
right?
Yeah, because I noticed even just switching from D to E, my finger is so in that ring that it gets stuck, and then that's where I get that.
Right, exactly. You get
Yeah.
that like jut of like force
R-
trying to get the slide back to its normal position.
right.
So
Right.
just less finger, my man, and you're good.
Sure.
Try it.
Messed up.
Right? Good, good, good. Another thing to kind of clean that up is these two fingers. Wrap
Hmm.
that around the valve casing, so you have more
Oh.
leverage. Because my what finger is this? My middle finger. Sorry if I
Hmm.
flipped y'all off, but my ring finger is supporting. Is like helping support my
Okay.
ring finger.
Do you put that ring all the way? Because where you can slide it here, do you put it all the way as close to this third valve, or?
Now for me, it's soldered on here, so I can't
Oh, you
adjust
can't
it. But for
adjust it.
you have the option for it to be more customizable for your
Right.
hand. So I would only for you, I would only adjust it to where it's comfortable, and you're able to get both these fingers in here, the middle and the index finger.
Okay. All right. So pretty much just form.
Yeah, just form of just holding
Uh,
the trumpet, like that's it, and you're
yeah.
good. Like you sound good. It's just a matter of fixing the placement of your fingers.
Now, and one last thing then is when I'm shifting those tones, if I have a major shift in tone, so like for example,
Okay, I gotta go.
it just whatever, but
Yeah.
I always get that elephant kind of trump sound, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And I'm wondering if, because I had seen a video, I think it might have been from you and somebody else, who said about tonguing and to be able to change that tone shift.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't really know how to do that right.
I would say go to my video if you haven't seen it already. How to play higher notes, and it tells
Okay.
you how it will give you a very descriptive and detail of what I'm doing with the inside of my mouth, what am I doing with my air, what I'm doing with my aperture size, and that should help you. But I have to go. Me and my wife have to go get this
I
furniture
got you,
before
man.
this place closes. So uh, I'm glad I was able to help. But
Yeah, definitely.
thank you for being on the show, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
All
You
right,
have a
peace.
good one.
All right, folks, I gotta go. You guys have been great. I gotta go get this furniture. You take it easy. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification anytime I'm going live. And peace. I gotta go.